So we have a full moon in Taurus on December 11th. That full moon is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, so I'm going to discuss that in this broadcast. Okay, so we have the full moon in Taurus on December 11th. As you can see up here, we have this on December 11th. You see the the full moon is happening in Mrigashira Nakshatra in Taurus. Now you see the sun is here in Scorpio. So this is the full moon, which is opposite the sun in Scorpio. And so this is going to provide that sort of harmonic contrast to the upheavals that we may be experiencing, during this Scorpio month. Scorpio is the sign where we, have quite a bit of, like emotional turbulence and working through a lot of intensity and a lot of passion and wanting to stabilize our emotions and feelings. And so the full moon is the halfway point in that cycle. And so in this case, that full moon in Taurus is a way to help to harmonize the cycle of Scorpio. So that halfway point brings that about. And so we can experience this full moon as a way to bring more structure, more stability, more calm and peace amidst perhaps a, feeling this month of being a little bit triggered, and working through that. When we have the Scorpio cycle, when the sun goes through Scorpio, it illuminates that sort of darkness in our mind and heart and consciousness, so that we'll face those things. But facing that makes us a bit stressed out. So we feel the stress and the sort of building stress and the sort of culminating stress as the last sign before the full moon is Aries. The last sign before the full moon of Taurus is the sign of Aries. We can feel that that kind of triggering. Then the moon gets near that fullness and we start to feel the calmness and stillness of Taurus. But then again, we should understand that on the full moon, we're kind of full of that whole sort of push and pull, that whole kind of polarity. So in the midst of the upheaval and the intensity, there's also the stillness and the peace. So this is why full moons are really good for things like meditation and solitude and stillness and trying to unite those apparent opposites in our mind and consciousness. And again, you can see here this opposition: Sun Mercury in Scorpio, Sun in Jeshta, and Moon in Mrigashira. So Mrigashira Nakshatra is the part of Taurus that's related to the deer. And it's where Taurus becomes Gemini. So you should understand this very simple but powerful structure in the Indian zodiac, where everything is pinned to these nakshatras very clearly, that they pinned the 12 30-degree portions to the 27 13-degree 20 portions, right? So that means that this nakshatra of Mrigashira is equidistant between Taurus and Gemini. So it has both qualities of Taurus and Gemini. So it's a quadruped animal like Taurus, which is the bull, but it's also a more fluid and fast and curious and restless animal like a deer, right? Because that's the nature of Gemini. So between Taurus and Gemini, you have this quality of Mrigashira. And so this is where we're, taking that kind of stable and that, calm, peaceful, stable nature of Taurus and sort of dispersing that energy in a way that leads to Gemini. So the cow becomes a deer, you might say, and becomes curious, exploring its environment. This is good for that Scorpio energy, which can get kind of stuck in its, control mechanisms and trying to organize and really sort of control our emotions, or also try to control the emotions of others. These are some of the negative qualities of Scorpio that we need to be careful of, right? And so the last section of Scorpio is related to Jeshta, which is Lord Indra, the king of the gods, which really brings out the potential for a sort of emotional heroism, where we can face our own emotional shortcomings with, again, with heroism. And opposite that is the moon in Mrigashira in Taurus, where there's that peaceful structure, but moving toward greater flexibility, curiosity, communication, right? And sort of, a kind of nimble searching. Mrigashira literally means the head of a deer. It means deer's head. And this deer's head shows where we are, again, still taking in our environment, but now looking around for new possibilities. A cow likes to be, it's a more, sedentary creature, whereas a deer is running and fluid and curious. And, cows are as well, but they're not as much of a wild animal. Cows are much more easily domesticated and just kind of want their space and want their, bowl of food or their grass, and they're sort of happy with it. Deer is a more, wild animal. So these are also qualities of this full moon in Taurus. And you can see, obviously we still have Rahu in Gemini. We're moving up to the next lunation cycle. The next lunation is going to be this solar eclipse. If we go forward, we'll watch the moon go around, and the next time we have a lunation cycle, the sun and moon come together, it's Christmas Day, and it's a solar eclipse in Mula, so in Sagittarius. So this is also officially the beginning of the next eclipse cycle. From one lunation to the next, we really feel that we're kind of in the jaws of it. So this full moon in Taurus is also really going to be leading us to the next new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, because we're letting go and releasing and waning this cycle. The moon keeps getting brighter and brighter, and then it's opposite the sun in Scorpio. Then it starts to wane and release. Now we're releasing all of this Scorpio energy until we're at the next moment of growth and building, which is when we're going to have the solar eclipse on December 25th. So, of course, I'll be talking about that quite a bit, but you want to understand this as being very important. And you want to also get my 2020 forecast. My 2020 forecast is available now. That also includes 2020 forecast for all 12 signs, including yours. All of that is available now. You want to check that out and make sure to see, because I'm going over 10 important shifts that will be happening in 2020, which includes Saturn going into Capricorn, Jupiter goes into Capricorn, then goes retrograde. We also have Mars in the same signs, same two signs for most of the year. We also have the nodes changing signs, moving into Taurus, and other things like eclipses and whatnot. So go ahead and make sure to register for the 2020 forecast as well. But this full moon in Taurus is going to be an excellent time to really stabilize your mind and heart, explore new ways of seeing the world, doing things, and being connected to peace, structure, stability, curiosity, and that searching for the soma, that wandering energy, that's searching for the soma. That's the deity of Mrigashira, is soma, where we're curious and searching and wandering and looking, that sort of innocent search. That's going to be important as well. So thanks for watching. Share this. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and we'll talk soon.